All right. Happy Sunday, everybody. Satya here. Just going to go ahead and wait. So we're live both on Instagram and YouTube. So when you start joining in, let me know where you're joining from, how you're feeling today. Hello, hello. Hi, hey. Okay. All right, there's a lot of people today. Welcome. Thank you for joining. I hope you're feeling well. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. All right, so I'm going to start by introducing myself. My name is Satya Lights. I'm a clinical hypnotherapist. I'm an embodiment mentor. I'm trauma informed. I'm an entrepreneur. I do many different things. I wear many different hats, just like most of you, most of us in this day and age. It's my highest excitement to share the things that I learned along the way, my studies, the things that I am here to learn and share. So welcome. All right. Today, so first of all, I would like to say today is the 5th day of this live broadcast series that is happening in the month of May. And every day around this time, sometimes depending on my actual weekly schedule, it just fluctuates, but usually around this time. And the actual recordings of this live broadcasts are being uploaded to my YouTube channel. If you're joining from Instagram and wanting to tune in later, you can go back to the YouTube channel and really tune in and receive the transmission. What we're doing here, my intention is to really talk about some topics that I think that are important in this moment that I am experiencing in my life and also perceiving through the collective and through the practice that I have that through my clients. So, and my intention is to bring forth utmost value and leave you with some practical tools like about the topics that we're talking about. All right, so today I said the topic is the purpose you're looking for is in the pain that you're avoiding to feel. Yesterday, I was doing a little bit of writing, and I was tuning into the adventure. I was like, okay, the adventure. How do we tune into the adventure? The adventure of the life itself is in the moment-to-moment unfolding, and in this channel we talk about a lot about not being able to be present with our pain and with what we're experiencing and the intensity of them and what we can do, right? So the adventure that we're really craving to feel and participate and be a part of is really, in my opinion, is in the pain that we're avoiding to feel, the moments, the intense moments that we're avoiding to cope with different stuff, like moving our awareness to something else. Hello, Mexico. Hello, world. so really, the entire adventure of it all is in our unique experiences that are unfolding. And through our unique experiences, the calling, the actual soul calling that is happening, if we are willing to hear and be present. Does it make sense? And along the way, for both of the channels, by the way, please go ahead and ask questions. And, if you have any insights, if you have any comments, go ahead and drop them in the comment box. And let's make it a conversation instead of me just sitting here and talking about stuff that I already know and I already am living through. Yeah. So, and let's make it a conversation and let's make it fun. Let's make it adventurous. And it is through the experiences that we're having, we're being invited deeply to align with our soul calling. And it is challenging, especially if we are still harboring a lot of energies and densities through our traumas. It is challenging for us to really hear. And I know it from myself. I know it from a lot of people in my field. I know it from like so many people that come into my field to do work with me. The ultimate questioning is like, what is the purpose? What is the purpose? What is my purpose? Why this is, like this is the experience. And I remember writing it's like a few months back, what is the purpose? What is happening in the moment is the purpose of the actual experience, period, full stop. And we are forgetting that. So I'm going to read the questions later, so just drop them here as we go. um, how do we actually cultivate capacity to be present in the moment? We are always talking about being in the now, and constantly bombarded with so much data, more than we can ever comprehend and process in day to day, according to some study or something that I read. So I cannot really quote right now, like where it is from. um, like what we are experiencing and receiving, the information that we're receiving in one day, it is like back in the day, in the past, it is the equal to the amount of information that our ancestors used to get in their entire life. I don't know how true is this, but it makes so much sense in this day and age, in the age of information and data and all this like content that we're consuming, all of us. So it makes our work, internal work, actually not, I'm not going to say harder, but it just invites us deeper into discernment. It invites us deeper into presence. It invites us deeper into understanding ourselves from inside deeply, so that we can actually be present for what is actually important to us, so that we can actually hear what our soul calling is moment to moment. And when we are so busy paying so much attention to everything outside of ourselves, and like we all do this, it just like the experience that's happening in our present moment in our body is just accumulate. And if, especially if you're not doing any work to really resolve and renegotiate the traumas that we already have, and we already traveled in this incarnation with, imagine how much accumulation we're operating with, how much density we're operating with. And we, like it is easy to just talk about being in the now. And how do we be in the now when we are so busy and so full of this density and these, like information that we can't even like process? One of the things that I love, 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 love is just, and it is not an easy practice for any of us. And there are I'm a meditator, and it is like my meditations most of the time is not to advance myself, but only to process and filter through the stuff. So I'm actually operating from a clean, clear vessel, moment to moment, day to day. So the pain that we're avoiding to feel, the stuff that we're avoiding to process, is the actual purpose that we're here for. And through that journey that we embark, we, just like get in alignment with and remember what we're doing, what we're supposed to do, and we hear the invites. And along the way, it changes. And then we, anchor in different levels of frequencies. And every time we, rise to a whole new baseline, it becomes this like vulnerable state of like, okay, um, I covered this whole ground, like I was actually really comfortable there. Now, like I went through a whole new initiation, and there's like whole new level of um, integration that gets to happen. And I'm bombarded with bunch of things, right? So, how do we integrate constantly? And we're constantly receiving our next level of initiation if we're really present with it. And yes, we are constantly also asking questions to our universe, but are we really actually taking time to really listen and receive? I find myself, I don't know about you, I'm gonna just like be honest. I find myself like really keeping my schedule super busy. Even though I give myself a huge amount of like chunks of time in my morning, during the day, I keep myself really busy and like, and that's how I do my life. And then I'm like, oh my God, that's a lot of information. I just need to just like, like be quiet for a second. And, that is the practice that we get to cultivate the silence, being present with. And when we try to do that, if you're not a practitioner of doing that on a regular basis, what happens is like you just want to fidget and you just want to get out of there because it's so uncomfortable to be in it. Does it make sense? Does it make sense? So, I said, yeah, the pain, the purpose that we're, really searching for is in the momentary experiences that we're avoiding to feel. And most of the time, we don't even know we're avoiding to feel that. So, what kind of tools that we get to cultivate in order to actually get in touch with those parts of us? Like, what is it that I'm avoiding to feel? Like, am I avoiding to feel something, or am I just, like moving through, or, like moving through the illusions that I created myself? Oh, I have a busy schedule. And there are really fine lines with it. And, like one of the addictions of our world is, like being a workaholic and the success. Because why? Because it's very tangible. It's very tangible. So, oh yeah, like I am doing this. This is my purpose. I'm becoming successful. I'm cultivating wealth. I'm doing this and I'm serving this. And that may even become the very, hiding area and the illusions that we're creating in order to not be really fully be with our internal momentary sensations that we're avoiding to feel, if it makes sense. Anyway, so there are so many different ways that we, created as humans to actually avoid these things. And it is very normal that, like it makes so much sense also, especially if we are talking about, like deep childhood adverse experiences that we have experienced that are unresolved, that keep, recreating itself in our life moment to moment, only to be resolved, only to be recognized. And we always have a choice. We always have a choice. We can say, oh my God, like I'm always experiencing this and this. I'm just going to get up from here and then go there, instead of actually going into the root, our problem, because that's what we learned. I'm not saying I'm not doing it or I haven't done it. We are constantly really trying to solve the symptoms of our actual root cause programs. We're constantly trying to, solve the problem that is actually on the surface, which is the symptom of what we're experiencing deep down, as a result of the cries of our inner child that are looking for attention and attunement and healing, or the parts of us that, like we just, like they fragmented, wanting to, like be recognized by you. into wholeness, loved into wholeness by you. And we talked about in one of the live broadcasts, you can always go back to my YouTube channel and tune into those. Wanna like I'll just to give an example, like anxiety, like and there's an entire industry just built on really healing the anxiety without even talking about the root cause in the nervous system. The anxiety is the symptom of like what we have cultivated to really protect our actual deep down pain. And any autoimmune system diseases, any skin diseases, like a lot of stuff that our body is, like with, I have psoriasis in my scalp, and that is the actual thing that got me on a whole deep healing journey 20 years ago. And I had it for like since I was 6 years old. And nobody told me that it can be like deep down, deep traumas that I don't even remember, right? And all I knew was this is incurable. You have this for the rest of your life. And that is not correct because of our like lack of understanding of the entire technology of these systems that we are actually being operating like from our bodies and all the endocrine system, nervous system, digestive system, all of them. Like we're not addressing any of that. And just like, okay, this is not going away anywhere. And thank God now there are so many different ways in which that we can address all of these things. There's like I listen to different really remarkable healing experiences of so many people. So how do we how do we really actually ask the right questions to ourselves? How do we even cultivate tools to forget about really even going deeper to the root for a second? How do we even cultivate tools to actually come into neutrality in this moment? So you can cultivate capacity to hold different poles in the full spectrum of emotionality and deep sensations that we don't we currently don't have capacity to feel. This is a really good question. And the path, these, yeah, there are tools that I'm going to be sharing today, also 5 tools, which are very built in. You don't need anything outside of you to actually use these tools. And this is our journey to empowerment. But like what we get to choose is, yes, we don't need anything outside of ourselves. What we get to choose is ourselves. Do I actually choose what my soul is yearning like me to be? Do I actually choose my highest alignment? And moment to moment, you may not even know that's your highest alignment. But like we will only know these things when it is our time. We don't know what we don't know. And can we stay available and also humble to that truth instead of, like, oh, I figured it all out. Oh, I don't need anything. Can we stay humble to that truth of, there are so many things we didn't actually address, especially, considering the ancestral trauma and everything that we're carrying into this incarnation, into this moment, to clear. And every single one of us have a total different curriculum. And me being here, having my own experiences and my hardship and my initiations, and you being there and having your own stuff going on and your initiations. The only thing that I can actually recommend is just constantly choosing yourself. And actually, if you're really looking for the purpose of all of this, to really remember the purpose is actually hidden in the actual thing that you are refusing to feel. So are you just get to actually inquire within, what am I actually, what may I be actually refusing to feel? There are so many people, and I used to be one of them, and we talked about this like in one of the previous live broadcasts. I thought I never got angry. Oh, I never get angry. I think it's hilarious. Like the entire human collective is full of rage in this moment, and 98% of them don't even realize it. There's so much that we suppress because of the societal conditioning, because of like this is a very hot, forward moving, sometimes really destructive emotion that we have. So we make it bad because it's bad. We don't want to be bad, and we don't experience it. We just don't allow ourselves to go into those spaces. But can we learn to cultivate? And like, it requires an access point. You may not even have an access point. I received my access point in a romantic partnership last time that I had it. And this kind, like, so who is your mirror? Watch your mirrors, watch the data that's coming into your field, and really, you know like, question and inquire and be with. That is the purpose. And within those moments of inquiry, if you realize that you don't have capacity to do these things on your own because of, like, maybe the intensity of your trauma. And this is always an inquiry, I'll tell you. And I always tell, I didn't know how much traumatized I was until I was like really mirrored, and my universe was like, no, 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 this needs to actually be cleared. I didn't even know. So you may not even know. And I'm not saying just because it's not in your conscious awareness, it is there. So it is your own actual experience of, like, really excavating your stuff and really, like, getting to know yourself deeply. And you know what is your priority? We get to ask. And there's so many things in life, so many areas of our lives, you know it's depending on the, like, your background, your programming, your conditioning, your lineage that you're coming from. Everybody has a whole different, like, thing that they're dealing with. And when you're really dealing with, your survival, you may not even think, like, I don't even have time to heal or meditate, Satya. Yet, just like the systems of the body that are working together for you to actually be here and have an experience, all the systems in all the areas of your life are actually super connected to each other. And one of the things that we don't realize, like, oh, like, we're experiencing, we want to manifest, right? Like, everybody wants to manifest. There's like this, like, billion-dollar industry like out there to manifest. And I love, like, really working with the limits of my mind. I love, like, that was actually my entry point. I started first, like, studying NLP when I was 17. I started exploring the power of my subconscious mind, and I started creating these experiences, and I moved myself between countries and stuff. I created a lot of experiences. We can cultivate a lot of experiences. Yet, if we are not actually doing the underlying, like, the undercurrent cleaning, clearing, work, you hit a wall. And that is part of your medicine also. So nothing is just, so you just need to do this first. I'm not the one to tell you what to do first and what is the importance, what is your priority. I'm just opening the conversation for all of us to really inquire like what may be important to us, what may be like what we may be missing, so that ultimately, if you're on my page, there's a part of you that is actually, first of all, knows that you deserve better, and there's a part of you that wants to get this kind of information and heal. Maybe you're deep in your healing journey and you have done so many different things and you're still experiencing something, as we all are. We're always going to expand. There's no limit to the expansion of the consciousness. If there's someone saying, I never really understand what you're talking about, and maybe start from the beginning and then continue till the end, brother. Bless. So what I can actually, going back to the topic after the comment, going back to the topic, there's always an invitation. There's always an invitation to just think from a different perspective. Nonlinear thinking doesn't have to be A to B. And when we actually come into the core of our heart, in our remembrance of, like of this moment, that if we can actually be with it, everything may actually exponentially grow. And what we don't know, I wanted to say that, is we are constantly searching for strategies, the top 5 things, the strategies to do these things. And all the while we're searching for strategies, what we're actually forgetting is actually the 80% of what you're trying to achieve is your internal energetics, all the cleaning, clearing the distortions that we already have. And through that, like 80% of the internal work that we get to do, aligned with the aligned action that we get to take according to what our insights are, through your own intelligence, through your own connection to your God, to your higher self, whatever you want to call it, that starts to unfold and reveal itself. And you're already experiencing this. So really bringing ourselves back to the 80%. And, you can take a look at your entire life and, okay, these are my baselines in all these areas of my life. And what is my priority? What is my priority? And our priorities usually it's like the hierarchy of the human needs, right? Like go with that and go upward from those needs. It's Maslow. So if you want to Google it and go for it. So I want to share just your built-in tools to actually cultivate capacity internally and be with what's happening in the moment for you. And depending on where you're at in your nervous system, you may want to get out of there. You may, just disconnect from the experience. And there is a way to really learn to map your nervous system. And I do believe in all the work that I have done for myself. I do believe, and I have done all the mental work, the energetic work, and the shamanic work, and this work and that work, until I came to the actual, even though like I was working somatically, and I told about this experience in one of the live broadcasts. I was working with yoga and moving meditation for so long until it became that deep level of understanding and education. It didn't make sense to me. And so really understanding where we are at energetically in our nervous system. So tools for you to really cultivate is, one is your breath. And I'm not talking about this like cathartic, well, like giant big breath work sessions. And depending on where you're at, you may actually push yourself into even more stuckness in certain levels, certain parts of the nervous system. And it's up to you to actually educate yourself and see what is working for you and if it's good for you or not. And, unfortunately, we don't even know if it's working for me or for us or not until we're like, oh my God, I've been doing all this like inner work and, like the breath work sessions and this and that. I still have these stuff like chronic diseases, chronic pain. It's not moving, it's not going anywhere. That may be the time to really address your nervous system if that's your experience. And we talked about this in one of the 5 live broadcasts. I don't remember which one, so you can go back to really tune into that. So your breath, really learning different ways to breathe, either upregulate yourself or downregulate yourself, depending on the energetics that you have in your body in the moment. And when you actually set an intention to be with what's happening in your experience, notice if you want to get away from that place. Notice what's fidgeting. Notice what's moving. Notice what you're thinking. And these are all normal. So movement is your, like really biggest ally. Move your body and combine your movement with your breath, with the intention also. And through this intentional movement, not only just going to the yoga and doing what the teacher says, but setting an intention and really actually, okay, like I am noticing this energies that I don't want to be in these experiences. Or when something challenging happens, I go and try to drink myself into sleep. I have all this anxiety. Like just notice where you're at and what your coping mechanisms are. Be brutal and honest with yourself and take action from that space. And nature. Go sit with a tree. Go sit with the tree, listen to the bird songs, listen to the birds, take a look around, really cultivate a whole new relationship with nature around you. And that in and of itself, that relationship that you're cultivating with nature will create whole new relationship with your own nature. And when we are regulated, we can think clearly. When we are not regulated, we are ruminating, we're thinking about all this stuff that happened in the past. We are like having anxieties for the future. Dysregulation affects your sense of experiencing the time, your thoughts, your emotions, all of it. And you get stuck in this cycle until you regulate and actually open space in your mind. So touch, like physical touch, is a really beautiful regulation tool for you. Really, instead of asking, why is this happening? And instead of really making it a mental process, can we actually bring it to the body? Where in my body, like what's happening and where is it? And can I be with it as much as I can without forcing yourself, bit by bit? In the realm of somatic experiencing, where Peter Levine's whole technology of working with the nervous system, it's called titration. It's coming from a chemistry, like it's a term from chemistry. And that means drop by drop, like so titrating the amounts of time that you are being with that energy in your body. So if it's too much to feel, you don't have to do it all and actually just like go outside of your window of tolerance. So small tolerable steps will actually support you to expand your capacity to be in the moment with whatever it is that you're experiencing. Instead of doing this kind of practices, if you want to just go to the meditation, that's not going to really support us, because we're going to think meditation is not going to work. Meditation is not working. I'm always thinking these things. I'm always lost. This is the reason, because we're not regulated. So one of the ways that you can actually do this is we said breath, we said movement, we said setting intentions and cultivate, like combining these things. We said nature, and really learning the experience. Like journaling can be this experience where it can bring you in touch with your past experiences. You can ask yourself certain questions and then answer them. And the only thing that you get to decide is actually you deserve giving yourself this time, whether it's 10 minutes a day, whether it's 15 minutes a day. We have time for all this mindless scrolling and hypnotizing ourselves into doing all these things. But when it comes to us in our healing journey, in our expansion journey, we don't have really time for ourselves. When it comes to comparing ourselves with others and scrolling and really, just projecting all our stuff onto other, we have all the time. But when it comes to looking at ourselves, we don't have any time. So, but it is up to us to really choose ourselves. And until we really choose ourselves, we're going to be really told what to do. The energies and like people's agendas are going to move you because you are not even in your body. My entire thing that I'm sharing here, the actual overarching purpose of all this is living as an empowered from within, as a sovereign being who is actually choosing, who is thinking for themselves, and who is heart-based, operating from the heart, compassionate, open-hearted, and creating from that space. That is the overarching intention for myself, for my life, and for anyone that I come in contact with. But in order for us to be that, it's not about more cathartic experiences. It's about really coming into the body and learning about our own freaking nature, and really cultivate a beautiful mind with beautiful thoughts and belief systems instead of limitations, instead of being the victim of our circumstances. Yeah. I read the comments on YouTube and here, like it's just like, well, what I see is, yeah, you may have a point from the level of mind you're looking from, but I'm not buying into the victim consciousness that we are being projected onto the field for my life and for your life. If you're buying into it and if you're agreeing, go for it. But my intention for you being here in this moment, sharing this moment with me, with your beautiful intention, which is the most important thing for you, is to actually empower yourself from within and choose for yourself. Choose for yourself. And there's nothing outside of you need in order to actually do that. That is why, like my intention is to actually teach everything that I know so that we actually cover the baseline of clearing the karma and the dharma and receiving our dharma. Because what the unprocessed trauma is doing is basically keeping us in our victimhood. And we only wake up to it when we wake up to it. All right. Yeah. Someone's here. I'm going to read. Very challenging to not only make it time, but also space in my heart and soul. Like you said, I need to let go of things no longer serve me, make space. I'm about to go through this process now. Beautiful brother, bless you on your journey. So, another thing, we decide. Is it hard to do this? Is it hard to choose myself? I mean, it's not hard to choose myself. You can decide that. You can say that. And If you really do not have time, like you have a packed schedule, you got to be at work at certain time, choosing yourself may actually look like waking up 5 minutes early and giving yourself a hug and setting an intention for your day, saying hi to your heart. Yesterday, I taught about heart-based breathing from Heart Math Institute, aligning creating a heart-brain coherence. Go back to the video that I, like shared yesterday on YouTube. So get to decide and take aligned actions. All right. I'm going to go read some comments here. Oh my God. I saw some questions, but did I lose them? Yeah. Someone is saying, if the moment is continue confusing, will clarity come? Will it eventually be less messy? But now I'm in the moment by asking. So, you know, we can actually visualize one of the things that I love to do when I, you know, don't have clarity for certain things or when my mind is clouded. First of all, really using certain regulation practices, because when we are not regulated, our minds are actually prone to not have clarity, right? So it affects our thought patterns, our, it's the entire thought system. Certain energies activate certain emotions activate thought patterns, and then if you're not regulating, if you're stuck in that like nervous system state, we continuously think that. So using nature as a regulation tool, and then you can visualize two different practices. One for clarity, two different practices for clarity. One, visualize a beautiful clear water and wash that beautiful mind of yours with clear water and intent for clarity to arrive. That may be one, after regulating your nervous system. The second one is, if you don't have clarity in the topic, if you're not feeling clear in your experience, find one thing that you're clear about. Find one thing in your body that clarity lives. That may be another practice. And then, if you don't hear it in the moment, sit with it. Continue these practices. I think I lost that question. I saw it. All right. Well, if you have any questions, someone says gratitude for the big and small and mundane will help us be present. That is true. So I'm going to share one practice for presence with all of you. Just a moment, please. All right. Doo-doo-doo-doo. Amazing. Oh, wow. It's a big question right here. How would one regulate the nervous system back to normal? I mean, it's a lifelong process for a lot of us. So it's a big topic. It's a really big topic. There is the regulation of the moment, like the momentary regulation, and also really regulation of like the entire, from rewiring and creating a whole new nerve, like even wiring, because at some cases I talk about this a lot, like we're not even correctly wired to attune to our, like internal experience, to the sensations, and also attune to, like, to cultivate relationships. And our nervous system journey and building the nervous system journey starts, like with, like, our primary caregiver, especially with our mother. And first of all, um, as little children, we don't have capacity to self-regulate. So we co-regulate with our mother and father, and, like our caregivers around us. And we actually borrow the nervous system of our mother. So this time, like I talked about this yesterday in the live broadcast. If you're really questioning how you were wired, really watch your mother's nervous system also. And, a majority of ours families, not to blame or shame or anything, um, you know, it's just like our experiences. They didn't even know how to regulate themselves. They didn't have any healing journey that they were on, and the traumas that they were carrying. It's like directly translating in your own nervous system. And plus, if you're also, if you had an adverse childhood experience, it's like a whole new different story. And then it can be also, it's not only the adverse childhood experiences and traumas through that, and also it can be shock traumas or accidents or whatever it is that we experience. And some babies, depending on your experience, your journey to heal your nervous system and open yourself and come into your body, land into your body, will be different. Yet the tools that we use are not different. I'm teaching a bunch of tools and the polyvagal informed nervous system, getting to know our nervous system in my course, Be Your Own Medicine. If you're interested, if you're still here, and many other tools alongside. So, someone asks the cold exposure. So, one of the things about cold exposure, um, so the course info is on my links here on Instagram, on YouTube. It's in the comment section. It's called Be Your Own Medicine. You can just click it, or you can message me medicine, and then I will send you the links. So when it comes to cold exposure, so what it does, especially these old cold plunges and everything, it immediately shocks the system. So, if we don't have an actually regulated nervous system on a regular basis, if you don't have those capacity, um, it can actually, hold on one second. It can actually, like bring us into a whole shock and make us stuck in different, like in the fight flight states. It may not be actually the ultimate way to regulate the nervous system, although if we have a really good practice, and if we have tools, if we have if we are in touch with our energetics and where we are, and if we have done a certain level of excavation and cleaning and clearing in our being, hot and cold exposure, when they're used together, I believe they're really good. And it's up to you. You just get to test with your body, because, I don't know you. Um, all right. All right. All right. All right. Amazing. If that's working for you, that's working for you. And, like I never talk about, this, but there's also the functional freeze that we experience. Like we're still in the freeze response. We're still, we don't have access to certain parts of our entire being, but we are functional in life. And that was who I was. I was successful. I was always, like I had all these degrees and everything. And I was just like really super amazingly functioning in the world without even knowing that I had that like, freeze response that was in my body that is causing all this autoimmune system diseases and everything. So, it's a journey. And, um, even getting information, even learning about these things will support you in your unraveling journey. So just look into it. And one of the books that I can recommend, like you can read any books of Peter Levine to really understand. And you probably heard "The Body Keeps the Score." It's Bessel van der Kolk, and just like really tune into these experiences and information, and notice where you may be at, and if it's working for you, it's working for you. One practice that I'm going to like, I'm just going to, this is a tool. And if you're learning one thing from me for the rest of your life, have that be this one. And thank you so much. Bless. Goodbye. One thing for me, may this be it. And this is a practice to bring you in presence. And our nervous system, our subconscious mind constantly is searching the environment very fast. Like it's like you're not even consciously doing this, like for your safety, if you're safe or not. And depending on the programming that you're running with, it makes a decision if you're safe or not. And by really cultivating this practice day to day, and you can do it anywhere, anytime, basically, that will support you to rewire safety into your being. And of course, your built-in searching for the environmental cues will continue. And yeah, so this is called orientation, orienting yourself. So like you can use this before any meditation, before you start anything, in between things, taking a pause and orienting yourself. Driving, you're orienting yourself, especially when we're driving, we go into this like altered states of like, like our brainwave states change. You may probably have the experience like parked your car and like you don't even know how you got there because it's like there's automatically you're moving through. So ultimately, always to cultivate presence, here's the practice: really orienting yourself, really taking a look at your environment really slowly. You can use the neck muscles. Like use the neck muscles like up and down, left and right, front and back, really looking at everything in your environment. And one more added layer to this may be, let's say you're looking at this computer, this phone. So whatever you lay your eyes onto, tell the name of those things. That will support you to practice presence, because in that moment, in that now moment, you're seeing a phone, seeing a computer, and there's this, there's a plant, like all of that. So that is a way to cultivate presence. And also teaching your nervous system that in that moment you are safe and you are doing it consciously. And you're orienting like between everything between you and the environment. Like your relationship to your environment. So this is a very powerful and the simplest exercise that you can, in this moment, integrate for the rest of your life. And it will always support you. It will always bring you to this moment. And it will continue to unravel more presence and more capacity, alongside with a lot of stuff. So for this moment, for today, this is a training. If you guys are interested in being in my field after the May live broadcasts, there's a few different ways to work with me. And one is the portal, which is a monthly membership program. We're a growing community. There are monthly live broadcasts and topics and master classes and bunch of recorded like somatic practices, meditations, and everything. And the second is Be Your Own Medicine, which is a pre-recorded, self-guided, trauma-informed course where I teach about the nervous system, like to get to know our nervous system and regulation tools. I teach about shadow work and really get to know ourselves deeply and integrate them. I teach about inner child work, which is very comprehensive, going into the infancy, into the school age, different developmental stages, different needs, and we're really really creating new relationship with those parts of us. And then there's the emotional literacy, really teaching about emotions and the language of the emotions, and actually how to relate to our emotions and how to use our emotions as our superpower. And subconscious mind, I teach self-hypnosis. I teach and I actually take you through certain activations. And there are many different teachers with different master classes. There's a neuroscientist talking about interoception, which we can talk about in the May broadcast. It's a very beautiful topic, and it's very important when it comes to nervous system regulation and our relating to our internal experience. And there's a conversation about microdosing psilocybin by a beautiful physician and medical doctor. And there's a shamanic practitioner talking about different ways in which that we can do parts work and inner child work. So a lot of tools that you can bit by bit introduce into your life and cultivate these tools for your life. And they're not like giant long. Once you go through the entire course, there will be, hopefully, these practices will be integrated into your life in small micro practices for you to really change your internal experience and really address that 80% that we were talking about. So this is like an amazing internal work, inner healing journey work that I wish someone actually gave this to me and said, this is everything you need, and you will use this like for the next 20 years in your life. And I cultivated this. I had like a lot of different trainings, a lot of different experiences that I went through. And to this day, the tools that I'm sharing in Be Your Own Medicine are the tools that I'm using for myself. So it's super valuable. So today, actually, it's ending. The half off pre-sale is ending today. If you guys are interested, I highly recommend going and checking it out. And the other way in which that you can do work with me is also my one-on-one private containers. If you're interested in doing some deep work in close proximity, it's a very high touch experience, and you can apply by the links that are in my bio for all of them. And that's pretty much it. I will be posting, for those of you who are on Instagram, I will be posting this entire broadcast onto my YouTube channel. You can go ahead and give me some love and subscribe. I just started doing this whole thing. And I hope and I pray you got something from this live broadcast, and you get to use it like a practical tool. And I hope you use it. And ultimately, my prayer is I pray that you choose your heart, and you choose yourself, and you choose your empowerment, and you choose your freedom in this life, so that there's nobody between you and your source. Bless you guys. And I love you so very much. I love you so very much. Take care of you. And I will see you tomorrow. Bye.